Hello everyone, welcome back to Joe Bailey Revision. Today we're going to be going through Crime and Punishment since 1900, which is to the present day. So in our overview, of course in this there is not as much mind map material, however I will be talking through it a lot as I know a lot about this time period, mainly because being from it. So science and technology changed drastically in this time. Things such as computers, databases and DNA, helping policing. DNA helps us catch victims, databases help us record criminals, and computers help us track them down. Also, computers are often used in crime for stuff like cybercrime. So technology has had a vast impact in many areas of this, except for punishment, but that wouldn't make any sense. Oh, I guess it would, demonetized. Okay, so next, voting rights. Now, all men and all women have the voting rights. Also, the Human Rights Act in 1948, which is overall a good thing, but would possibly lead to more crimes as people violating other people's human rights would be seen as negative and a criminal offence, due to this being a law. Also, the idea of the Human Rights Act may lessen harsh punishments due to them going against someone's human rights. So next, a bit about town and cities. So towns and cities got bigger and they grew outwards, urbanisation. Not many people now live in villages, and mainly people live in towns and cities, which are massive. Things such as migration lead to hate crime, as things such as racism against people who are different from the people already there, or just from people in general towards other people. It's people shutting them off into their own groups and then just offending other people in any way. It is illegal to do something that could seriously hurt someone because of who they are, which is right. So also the welfare state was established in 1911. This was a big change, as it would help people who were unemployed and vulnerable, instead of recent laws on things like vagrancy. They were people without any jobs who just wandered around. Now people without any jobs are given money and encouraged to work in the future. They are helped by the government, which overall would lead to a lot less crime, as less people would need to steal to survive. Now, people are able to survive without turning to the extremes of crime. Not the extremes of crime, but the extreme being crime. Speaking of crime, welcome to crimes. Violent crime increased in this time. However, murder rate had gone down. This is as there was better medicine. So, say someone tried to murder someone is more likely to get better now due to the advancements in science. And if they get better, that becomes attempted murder, not actual murder, because they're not dead. Also, the crime rate went up in the 1960s. However, it can be speculated that this is just because more crimes were reported and recorded, which is overall a positive thing and helps us with our history. Also, there were more laws in this time, so more laws to be broken. Also, databases were set up to record crimes. Even minor crimes were recorded in this time, and burglaries were more likely to be reported, as everyone reports a burglary nowadays, due to things such as insurance claims. Also, in recent times, domestic violence would be reported more often, as nowadays it's not accepted, which is a good thing. People have the confidence to talk about bad things that happen to them, which is great. So, also crimes, new crimes. So, new crimes include hate crime, which we talked about. Things such as racism and attacking people because they're different. Cybercrime, which is basically doing things on computers. I have a very nice computer, it's right there. Very nice, isn't it? Let's not get sidetracked. So, another recent crime is terrorism, which, however, it could be argued that Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot, which was during the time of King James, who was just after Queen Elizabeth, which was before this time, could be argued that that was terrorism, as it was created to cause mass terror by destroying the government. However, terrorism is considered a significant issue today, as lots of terrorist incidents go on around the world, and this wouldn't have happened back then. It's also been amplified by things such as the internet, as now people can become radicalised and stuff through screens. Also, human trafficking is a new crime. I think this directly links to human rights. I'm pretty sure it's against someone's human rights to human traffic them, to make them go somewhere without them saying they want to. Also, it's obvious this didn't exist before with terrible things such as the slave trade. That was basically human trafficking and forcing people to work. That is now a crime, to force someone out of where they want to be. Car crime is also a new crime, mainly because of the invention of cars, which is a animated Disney Pixar movie from 2000. I'm on about the cars, automobiles, driving ones. Car crime includes people crashing cars into things, into people hijacking other people's cars, stealing cars, breaking people's cars. If it's illegal and it's done with a car, then it fits into this category. So now let's talk about law enforcement. So, as we said before, technology has a great impact on this, with things such as surveillance cameras. In 1984 there was the creation of DNA testing, and in 1902 there was a way figured out to track fingerprints off stuff. So that would increase the conviction rates of people who are guilty. That would make it easier to prove that someone did the crime, easier to catch the culprit. At the start, the police were all working class and poorly educated people, as that's what they were expected to be, to work with the general public. However, nowadays they need to be educated, and you need quite high grades to become a police person. So if you want to, watch my videos. Also, now the police are split into lots of specialist squads, such as forensics, fraud, and drug squads, where they do specific things. They have specialties in certain areas. Today, around 30% of the police are women, which is a big change, as originally the entirety of the police would be made up of men, as many jobs like that were back in the day. Back in the day, I mean a long time ago. Also, many people in this time have believed that the police are unhonest, or liars, as there were many events such as the Hillsborough disaster and miners' strikes where the police were seen as negligent and possibly going against people's wishes. But nowadays, to fix that, they do a little PR stunt. I'm joking, it's not that extreme. The police tend to walk around the streets now and visit schools. They visit schools to educate people and hopefully turn them away from crime, don't do drugs, it's bad. They also walk around the streets to have a public presence to deter people from doing criminal acts. And also, of course, to make other people feel safer and think they're doing a better job. So, we're about to enter a world of punishment. So, right now, prisons are a lot better. Prison is used as the most common punishment, and 80% of people in prison are in for less than a year. Prisons are better, partially due to riots in 1970, where people in prisons rioted to get better accommodation and better hygiene and better everything, really. So, and then young offenders institutes were set up in 1988. They're basically like prisons for young people, where they also learn there as well. So it's got more of a focus on rehabilitation. To be honest, all these punishments have more of a focus on rehabilitation, especially prison in this time. So another punishment will be being put on a suspended sentence. So it means you're allowed out, you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to do anything, they let you out unless you reoffend. So it's like being given a second chance. So we're a lot more lenient in this age. Corporal punishment is basically like whipping and stuff like canes in schools, but this was banned in 1933 as a punishment for kids, and 1962 as a punishment for everyone else. So you don't see police people whipping people anymore, which I think's positive. I think in 1969, that's when capital punishment was banned. Capital punishment is basically the death penalty. So they could no longer give the death penalty after that time. This, again, is about being more lenient and respecting people's rights a lot more and believing in the goodness of humanity. I think throughout this age, we've definitely become a lot less harsh on offenders. Some people see that as a bad thing, but some people see it as a good thing. Also, community service was created in 1972, and it was basically where you would do things to help in the community to pay for your crime. And I think overall, it's a positive punishment. Because, I mean, it encourages people to get out into their community and to help people. It's a good way of rehabilitation. So, there we go. That was Crime and Punishment since 1900. Joe Bailey revision. Hope you liked it. Comment with what subject and what thing you would like next. Okay, goodbye.